The darkness descended upon the village like a heavy shroud. The wind, sharp and cold, cut through the bare branches of trees, creating a sinister whisper. In the distance, flickering lights from a few houses could be seen, but most residents had locked their doors tightly, as if afraid of something unseen lurking in the night. The village was called Mountain Serenity, but peace had long left these lands. Whispers spoke of a curse that had fallen upon the village. Legend held that centuries ago, a woman named Maria lived here, accused of witchcraft. She was condemned to death, but before her execution, she cursed the village, vowing that her spirit would return. Among the many tales, one stood out, the story of the old house on the hill. This abandoned building sat apart, as if watching every move of the village. People dared not approach it, especially after nightfall. One night, a group of teenagers, Maxime, Andrei, Alina, and Sophia, decided to test the legends. They were thrill seekers who hoped to capture the truth on camera, proving the stories wrong. "If we make it out alive, we'll become internet stars," Maxim joked, unaware of the truth hidden within those walls. The path to the old house was overgrown with weeds and shrouded in thick fog. Every step felt heavier, and a growing sense of unease filled the air. When they reached the house, it seemed even darker and more ominous than they could have imagined. Broken windows, half-destroyed doors, and walls covered in dark green moss painted a haunting picture. "Are we ready?" asked Maxime, holding a flashlight. His voice trembled, but he tried to mask his fear. Alina nodded, though her face was pale. Andrei pushed open the door with a loud creak. They entered, finding dust, cobwebs, and ruined furniture. The air was thick and damp. "Let's split up," suggested Andrei. Alina hesitated, but eventually they all agreed. They dispersed into different parts of the house, each with their own flashlight. Sophia climbed the stairs to the second floor. Her heart pounded so hard she could barely hear her own breath. In one corridor, she spotted an old mirror. It was cracked, but her reflection seemed strange. She turned her head. No one. Yet when she looked back at the mirror, a woman with pale skin and hollow eyes stood behind her. Sophia screamed, and the mirror shattered into 1,000 pieces. Meanwhile, Andrei stumbled upon an old diary. The pages were yellowed, and the handwriting was nearly illegible. However, one phrase caught his attention. "Do not open the doors on the north side." Unease gripped him, but curiosity prevailed. He found the doors, which appeared unnaturally newer than the rest of the house. "What could be behind them?" he murmured, opening them cautiously. Behind the doors was a staircase leading down into a dark basement. Suddenly, the wind howled louder, and the doors slammed shut behind him with a deafening thud. Alina discovered an old children's room. Toys were scattered across the floor, and the bed was made as if someone had just gotten up. She heard whispers, but couldn't make out the words. Her flashlight flickered, and in that moment, a shadowy figure appeared behind her. Alina screamed and ran downstairs. Maxim remained in the living room, filming everything. He didn't notice when something moved in the corner of the room. When he turned around, the previously blocked fireplace was now open. Sounds similar to a child's cry echoed from it. "This can't be real," he whispered, but moved closer. Suddenly, something icy gripped his hand. Maxim's scream brought everyone back together. He stood holding his hand, now marked with a strange, burn-like imprint. "We need to leave. This place, it's cursed," shouted Alina. However, the doors they came through were now locked shut. In fact, they seemed to disappear, leaving nothing but a smooth wall. Panic took over. They realized this wasn't just a legend. The house came alive. The walls began to close in, and the sounds of footsteps and cries intensified. They tried to find another way out, but every door they opened led back to the same corridor. "You see, this is a maze," Sophia whispered, wiping away tears. "We're not alone," Andrei added, his gaze locked on the darkness. In that moment, they understood something was watching them. Figures moved behind, but they could never quite see who or what they were. The story escalates as the friends decide to split up again, hoping to find an exit. But each encounters their deepest fears, which become so real it feels as though the house is playing with their minds. Alina finds a portrait that begins to move, and she is pulled into it. Andrei tries to return to the basement, but with every step, the stairs stretch endlessly. Sophia meets the woman from the mirror, who pulls her into the darkness. Maxim is left alone, discovering Maria's old diary. which reveals the truth of her curse. Maxim realized the diary was the key. It contained strange symbols and phrases that seemed like incantations. He began to speak them, unsure of what would happen. But as soon as he started, the house trembled violently. The walls began to shift, revealing new corridors. "I think it's working," Maxim shouted, searching for the others. Sophia heard his voice and rushed toward it. She found Maxim at the center of the living room, where a powerful wind rose around him. They combined their efforts to understand the ritual. Meanwhile, Andrei, stuck in the endless basement, suddenly saw a light ahead and joined them. Alina was gone, but her voice echoed in the air, begging for help. The friends decided to finish the ritual to not only save themselves, but also free Maria's soul. The final words of the incantation caused a blinding explosion of light, and the house began to crumble. They fled just in time. On the hill, only the empty foundation remained, and above them, the sun rose. Yet even then, they felt something lingering, something dark that would watch them for the rest of their lives.